I'm Felina.
And I'm Summer.
And you are listening to Broken Broken.
Because we're both.
The podcast about living your best life by getting real.
Hey, broken people. This is Summer.
And this is Felina.
I'm sorry. We are technologically challenged and don't know what we're doing.
It's okay. I'm the same way. I live the same life.
All right. So today we have... you've never met Felina. My co-host Felina.
Hello.
Hello, Felina. I love your name. It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
And we also have an in-studio guest today, Kelly. So.
Hello, in-studio guest Kelly.
Hello.
I'm Lisa. It's nice to meet you, ladies.
Nice to meet you.
This is Lisa Landry. She's a national headlining comedian and just.
Yes.
What else do you do? What else do you do, Lisa?
I don't know. What else do I do? I don't know. I meditate. I'm a mom.
Ugh,
I'm going to
that's the
grad
hard
school,
one.
actually. I'm in grad school now.
I didn't know that. So what are you
Awesome.
studying?
I'm studying to become a mental health professional.
Oh, I'm going to
And
need a lot of help.
I'm going to help you. I'm going to get certified so I can help people. You know, it's ironic because I've been called crazy mostly by my exes.
Same.
You know,
Same. We can all relate to
mostly
that.
like guys that I don't want to sleep with anymore. You know, they get really mad at you. Or like if you don't want to sleep with them to
Yes.
begin with, you know, you're crazy.
Yes.
And slutty too. They like to, you know, say that
Yeah,
about
exactly.
it.
How does
But-
that work? Why are we suddenly sluts when we say no to having sex with them? How does that happen?
I don't get it.
I don't know. I don't know the mind of these men. I mean, you know, there's cool men who don't get aggressive like this, and then you know there are the guys that I have dated, or like this, you know. But I've been called crazy, and now I have a 4.0.
Wow.
So
Ooh.
you know, if I'm crazy, I'm passing exceptionally well.
Well, that's important, you know.
So how do you guys know each other?
I actually interviewed Summer back in what year was that?
2 years ago?
28. I think it was the 90s. We were wearing flannel. We had just come from a Nirvana concert in Oklahoma City. No, it was a while back. Summer was actually a guest on my podcast,
yeah,
which I'm very humbled by.
I think it was 2017, and then I did it again last year because we did
Yes,
like
you-
4th
yes,
of July
you
or
are-
something.
Our Thanksgiving guest.
And what's your podcast?
I have a podcast called Menace to Society.
That's Summer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can see why you had her on there.
She found me on Twitter somehow and contacted me that way, and then I had to very bashfully Google her and then explain to her, I'm so sorry I didn't know who you were, but I love your work.
Oh, you're so sweet. You're so cute. Yeah. I was
Awesome.
glad you came on. We were, you know what it was? I saw your Twitter account and you were bringing attention to, I don't know the woman's name, but she was and still is incarcerated in Oklahoma. You remember that case?
Yes. God, I'm blanking on her name right now. I feel so bad now.
Summer's tired. It's okay.
Yeah, but she's been incarcerated. She was sentenced for like 30 years for failure to protect because the man she was with abused her children, and he got a plea deal and did months in jail and got out, and she's
What fucking
Yeah.
bullshit.
yeah, and
Yeah.
so her children have grown up without her, and
Wow.
she's still sitting in prison.
Welcome to Oklahoma.
Yes.
Fuck.
That's
sick.
you know, that's a lot of our justice system is kind of broken like that. You know?
Oh yeah. I mean, we're both very well aware of that. I'm an attorney as well, so like,
Oh,
Felina and I went to law
Interesting.
school together.
yeah. And so, number one incarceration rate of women in our
Yes.
state. Number one
We're
in
number
Oklahoma
one.
for something.
yeah, it's a very unfortunate statistic, you know, because you guys, I'm gonna say you guys, because I'm on the East Coast and they don't say y'all, and I'm trying to fit in.
You still got the accent, honey. You're not going.
Well, you know, yeah. It's like, you know, you say y'all around here and they're like, well, da. And it's like, wait a minute, that's actually more politically correct because it's gender inclusive, okay?
Oh, that's true.
But
I like it. I'm gonna start using that when I slip up and say y'all.
Well, I say
Yeah.
that about the pronoun, the singular pronoun use of they.
Uh-huh.
I really want that to catch on because I'm country, and that we've always used they as a singular pronoun. So maybe people stop correcting me now.
It's a good one.
Yeah,
I think so.
I'm just being gender inclusive. Let me say my country phrase.
That's right.
I like it. So you're on the East Coast?
Yes, I'm on the East Coast right now. I'm visiting, I'm in New England right now currently. I've actually kind of been in New England for a while due to a situation. And they say you guys, they don't say y'all.
Well, do you care to elaborate on what's going on? I feel like there might be a story that
Well,
we need to hear.
actually, y'all are attorneys, so I might as well just go ahead and, speak to my attorneys.
Put it out
No,
there.
you know what happened? I was sexually assaulted by my former attorney, actually, in his office in Warwick, Rhode Island on May 17th, 2017. And he is city councilman. And I cannot find an attorney to bring a tort against this sexual predator, who also completely blew up my case.
Have you filed a bar complaint?
Huh?
Have you filed a bar complaint?
I have not done so. I filed a police report just last week, and I must say I'm very much impressed by the professionalism and the sensitivity of the police officers that I interacted with in Warwick, Rhode Island, and the detective that I've spoken with since then. They are extremely diligent, but I know realistically these cases aren't usually pursued. It's like, oh, he grabbed your butt. Boys will be boys. It's not that big of a deal.
Right.
But actually, this guy had a lot of power over me because he had the authority to deny or schedule me being able to visit somebody that I love with my whole heart. So this guy had the power to make a difference in my case. Instead, he chose to not share with the judge documents that could have illuminated situations where the judge has not been told the full truth. And he also filed a motion without telling me that he was doing so that worked to benefit him and absolutely did nothing to move my case, for which I retained him, forward.
What kind of motion did he file without you?
Yeah.
I can't really go into it
okay.
you know what I mean? Because I can't get too specific
right.
about that other matter. But
I mean, I will say, like, as a practicing, like, trial attorney, like, I will file motions that relate to, like, time constraints.
Right,
like,
procedure.
if I need to, like, extend a deadline or something, like, that kind of stuff I'll do without talking to my clients. But if it's something that's substantive, then I always inform them.
Yeah, the client needs to know.
Yeah, well, that's what ethical attorneys do, yes, ma'am. But no, this guy
This
guy
wasn't just
wouldn't
a
do
little
something that
This wasn't just like a time or insignificant thing, like, regarding timelines.
No, ma'am, no. This was just a blatant disregard for my advancement in the case, and
yeah, you need
there
to bring
was no
a bar
reason
complaint
for it to happen. And then he didn't even tell me. I didn't even find out about it until 2018.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But basically, there was a bunch of hearsay and ex parte communication, and it just there's evidence that could have been refuted easily because it's bunk. What was presented was bunk, and this guy, instead of advocating on my behalf, went in and filed something without telling me that he wasn't going to address the situation, which left me more vulnerable. And he also knew that, I don't have my First Amendment rights. I don't have access to them, in part because of what this guy did, which, Summer is Googling me, other people are Googling me. I never had like an illustrious comedy career. There's a bunch of reasons for that, but I never had the career I thought I was going to have. And now my career is such that I can't really promote myself or interact with fans because I haven't been able to tell them what's going on. And I don't know what would be used against me in a tort brought about him in the future. So my hands have been tied.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
I'm sure as a comedian, just like with any artist, you use your real life as inspiration for your material.
Yeah, you get inspired by it. It's very
Yeah.
different the way that audiences respond to men and women doing comedy. Like, I can be interviewed on whatever platform and I'll make a joke, and oftentimes the interviewer will be like, are you kidding about that? you're joking, right? Like, something that I'm saying might be so outrageous because it's not really that outrageous, but I'm a female saying it. Whereas with male comedians, they don't often get the same sort of incredulous response. Like, oh, do you really mean that? You know what I mean? Like, there's just more of an acceptance of, oh, he's making a joke. Whereas with a woman, it's like, oh, she did a drinking joke. She must be a raging alcoholic, you know?
I can relate. I say the word pussy in one of my songs. I'm a singer-songwriter. And like, I'll get to that part. Like, I always see people's heads like pop up when I say the word pussy.
Yes,
and I'm like, what? You got a problem with a woman saying the word pussy in her song? Huh?
Right, because nobody cares if
It's
the man
really
says
funny how people do that. People have certain buzzwords that women aren't supposed to say.
Yeah, it's no thing for like a rapper or whatever to be like, oh yeah, you know, give me that pussy or whatever. But then I'm like, hey, in my song, like, hey, stop staring at my pussy. And the people are like, I can't believe she said pussy. And I'm like, I'm telling you to stop staring at it.
Right.
Like there's clearly a double standard here. But yeah, I mean, having your hands tied to be able to like use that in your art would be incredibly frustrating to me. So that sucks. I'm sorry.
I appreciate that. Thank you for the empathy. It's been quite something. That's one of the reasons I went to grad school. I started grad school because I was like, well, you know, if I can't really express myself and I can't communicate with people to tell them what's going on, what's the purpose of this?
Right.
You know?
Well, you should absolutely make a bar complaint. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Thank you very much. You know, I was hoping the police would move forward with this, and like I said, we've been in contact, but you know, ultimately a judge is going to have to decide if this is something that they want to pursue or not. And because this guy is city council and he's been a practicing attorney for decades in Warwick, Rhode Island, I don't think Richard Corley is going to be arrested. I would imagine, and this is no knock on the judges there or the court system there, but I'm just talking statistically.
Right.
You know, it's a small community. These guys may have gone to law school together. Their sons might have gone to school together. Their daughters might be on the same, I don't know, soccer team or whatever suburban white kids do in New England, you know? So,
yeah.
You know?
Well, I want to help you find an attorney that will take your case too. Like, there's gonna be somebody who will do it.
She's been having a hard time finding an attorney, and as I understand it, that's part of the reason you didn't file a police report for so long, right? Trying to not interfere
there's so many
with the
reasons.
case.
I didn't go to the police because, like I said, cronyism, and I'm not saying that would or is going to happen. I'm just saying that's what usually happens.
Right.
I mean, we all
It's
know
common.
the deal. You know, and then on top of it, I didn't know how that's going to affect my other legal matter, for which I hired this ass grabber, Richard Corley, city councilman, Warwick, Rhode Island. So I didn't know how it's going to affect my other matter,
right.
which is, you know, takes precedent. And then also, it's like once you sign a police report, or like say that I go ahead and submit this bar complaint, who's going to represent me? Because he gets notified once that bar complaint goes through. So who's going to be on my side? Because, you know, when a woman comes forward and says, I've been sexually assaulted, it's like, what were you wearing? What time was it? Were you guys drinking together? It's like, no, I was wearing jeans and I was in his office. I was in his legal office on Post Road in Warwick, Rhode Island, when he groped my ass. And I, of course, thought it was my fault, because you know how we are, ladies. You know, it's like, this guy can't be doing this. This is my attorney. This is a city council man. This is a married guy with a grandchild. Mm-hmm. There's no way that I must be in the way. So I moved out to the right. I scooched over, and I said, I'm sorry. And he said, I just wanted an excuse to touch your butt. And he started laughing.
Oh, God. Because that's hilarious, right?
Yeah, and then he kept laughing as he exited the office into his lobby area. And I guess he should keep laughing, because I've spoken with several attorneys now in Rhode Island, and nobody will help me. So I guess he feels like he can do whatever he wants.
Which makes you wonder what else he's done.
Exactly, because, you know, these guys have patterns. And this guy, Richard Corley, actually gave me the folder, the file of a former client, and told me to read it. He was like, you should see what happened to her. She was victimized by the system, or something to that effect. They speak like that. It's like talking to Family Guy cartoons. I mean, seriously, it's like, Peter? So anyway, like, you know, I mean, I guess he feels like he can just get away with it because he is getting away with
Well,
it.
yeah, I mean, that's
These-
a total breach
It's
of
hard
their
to find a
client
legal malpractice
confidentiality.
attorney.
I know.
A
I'm
lot
like
of
counting off all the ethics violations here.
Yeah. I mean,
Dude, he gave me the file of another client. He's got his
Wow.
legal files out in a conference room. Anybody can walk in and just access his clients and former clients' files. He actually, Summer, you met my girlfriend, Kimberly.
Yes.
He actually sent her a text offering to impregnate her if I could untie his tubes.
Oh, how thoughtful. I don't know how to respond to
right?
that. What the hell?
Like an
What?
unsolicited text from my attorney offering to impregnate my life partner. And trust, it was unsolicited. It ain't like we were talking about, we hope we can have a baby one day. Do you mind taking a ride with us? You know what I mean?
He's definitely not Kimmy's type.
Yeah. And then he showed his legal files to Kimberly. He had a client come in. It was an injury case. And he was going to help this client who had something go wrong with his tongue. And he showed the pictures to Kimberly Moore, Corley did, because he couldn't figure out what was in the medical report. Kimberly, who has never attended medical or law school, had to actually help him understand the medical report so that he could put the information into the client's file.
Wow.
What?
And this guy is a lawyer, and he is a city councilman. So what is he doing for his people? See, that's what keeps bugging me. That's what I keep
I'm
coming
very
back to.
concerned of
I
what's
know I'm-
happening up there.
What?
I'm very concerned about what's happening up there.
In Warwick, Rhode Island. So, but that's the thing. Like, okay, if
What's
you're
going
doing
on,
this
Warwick?
to me, if you're doing this to me, what are you doing to your constituents? What kind of policies are you setting for the actual people who voted for you, who trust you? And this guy, Richard Corley, ass grabber, actually sat on the school board for years.
Oh my
So
God.
what kind of shenanigans has he pulled? And he thinks that he's immune?
What is he getting away with?
Right?
Yeah.
And where are the good ethical attorneys who don't want this to happen? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, you might start with calling. Have you called the Bar Association at all and asked for an attorney referral?
Girl,
I'm
I
sure you
called
have.
the Rhode Island Bar Association and I asked if they could refer me to someone. They have no one for me. I called back again and I told them that the two people that they referred me to, one couldn't take the case because of a conflict. And the other person didn't feel comfortable because he doesn't want to go after a politician, is what I feel happened. And the bar told me that this happens a lot, where people can't find representation because it's such a small community. They told me to call Massachusetts. I've called Massachusetts 3 times and I can't find anybody there. Because it's very hard to find a legal malpractice attorney. And then on top of it, this guy's a politician and nobody wants to mess with him for that reason, I think, because I have actually spoken. I called up Brandon Bell. He is the president of the GOP party or whatever they call themselves in Rhode Island. Because, I don't know that, I'm not trying to disparage the GOP. I don't typically vote Republican. I'm a registered Democrat. But I figured, maybe some big high muckety-muck Republican would like to take this guy down, And, you know what I'm saying? Because he's a Democrat and a politician. So I thought maybe this will work out. Brandon Bell jerked me around for close to 5 months, pretending he was going to take my case. So I don't even know what to think about that either. I mean, I would think if I'm out there pretending I'm some big Republican gonna, drain the swamp of Rhode Island and whatnot, I'm giving you a head on a platter, brother.
Right.
Well, let's talk after and exchange information. I'll try and dig around. My boss is actually licensed in Vermont in the New England area. So, and he's from Maine, and he's real familiar with the area. So I might actually be able to find you somebody.
So maybe.
Well, that would be really super cool. I would be very, very grateful.
Yeah. Let's exchange information after we get off the call here, and definitely I'll do that. And I'm like messing with my nose ring right now. Summer's looking at me like I'm gross. I'm like, my nose ring is
I'm
stuck
waiting to
in
see
my
it
nose.
pop out and then not go back
It's
in.
stuck. I don't know what's happening here. Sorry, I wish you could be here to see my awkwardness.
I feel cheated. I can't see this.
Every time something weird happens, I'm like, we've got to start doing videos.
My nose ring was stuck. Okay, I wasn't picking my nose. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, I'll find you an attorney. I'm super respectable. Oh my God. Sorry, ladies, I didn't mean to throw everything off. You need to find a
That's good.
female attorney. Too, I bet we can find you.
Oh my gosh, you should.
a
I went to a
lady.
woman called Mariah Sugden, and she told me that she was going to take on this case, and she actually had me hand her money. And then once I gave her the money to take the case, she told me I should pursue this on my own, because she wouldn't go after another attorney.
Did she at least refund your retainer?
No, that's what I told her. So give me back my money. Like you know, that's false pretenses. But you know, I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore of the lawyers I've worked or tried to work with on this issue.
Oh my God,
you know?
Brooke has a friend that's a lawyer in Massachusetts that I met the last time I visited her. I know someone. I know a female attorney in Massachusetts.
We're gonna hunt down some
actually.
New England folks.
Yes. No, I know her, and she actually comes from a family of attorneys, and she's a Democrat, and she's
So maybe there's
good
somebody.
people. Yeah. I'll reach out to her. I will reach out to her for sure.
Well, that's exceptionally kind. I really appreciate that. I know there's got to be somebody here in this area, you know.
Well, I applaud you
understand.
for like going after it, because like I've been assaulted before, and I just let that shit slide, you know. So like
Same.
I think it's good that
Right.
somebody's going after it. Yeah, fuck them.
Well,
It needs
I
to
have to.
happen.
This guy, you know, I mean, I think a lot of people would just be like, oh, he touched your butt, no big deal. But the actual legal malpractice on top of the sexual assault
Yes.
that's what he really did. He made choices that left me more vulnerable.
Right.
And, you know, I have all kinds of texts from this guy. He actually blew up my last album cover. I think it was 4.75 inches square. I'm not very tech savvy. I don't know what the dimensions are, but it was like regular size. He blew it up to an 8.5 by 11 inch color print and put it in my legal file, and then referenced it in text to me, telling me that he should show it to the male voters to get votes or some baloney like that. I kept the text. I have
So
all
like
this
this
garbage
is like
that
an
he was
album
sending to me.
cover for
And-
your. Oh, I'm sorry. So this was like an album cover of your comedy, and it's like an image of you.
Yeah, I'm wearing a jacket with a bra,
With
and
your
I got the
bra
jacket
showing.
open.
So
Ooh,
it's,
how
so it's
scandalous,
attractive.
you know?
So you're an attractive female, and he wants to use that to advance his political career.
Nice.
What is
Yeah.
his bucket?
And
Right?
impregnate her girlfriend at the same
Wow.
And impregnate my girlfriend.
time. Oh my god.
And
Right, 'cause
this
we want a
is-
baby that's like part sexual
2019.
predator, part
Right.
inept attorney. That's what we want.
Yes, that
Oh
is
my
the
God.
ideal sperm donor right there.
Oh my God. You might as well just let Trump impregnate you.
No.
I mean, if you're gonna go that direction, why not just take it to the full
Go all the
extreme?
Wow.
He sounds like a mini Trump.
He kind of
Gross.
does actually.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Gross. There's a lot of them though. There's a lot of them out there, and men wonder why we often say "fuck the patriarch." Well, case in point.
If they wonder, they're not paying
Well,
attention to what
yeah.
we've been telling
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
No, that's just I love men individually, but I do not.
Absolutely.
This patriarchy thing needs to die. Like
Kill it with fire.
I'm pretty sure patriarchy is the antichrist. I think that's like the apocalypse, like in the scripture.
Uh-huh.
It's not a person. It's the patriarchy.
Okay.
I'm into it.
You know.
Yeah. Let's
Okay.
follow this theory.
That's
I
a
like it.
metaphor for
Yeah.
patriarchy. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
because like,
destroying
what
the
is all the hate
feminine-
coming
Well,
from?
it's
What is
unnatural,
all
too.
the division, the racism, the classism? Like women give birth. I mean, we're jacked up too. Our gender does some jacked up stuff. But I think we do have more of an appreciation for the sanctity of life because we actually make it happen.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think they've ever gotten over the fact that that's a power that they don't have, that we hold. And there are men who honor that and respect the matriarch and the power that holds and the wisdom that holds and the things, the spirituality that holds that they will never have, you know, that ability to create life. I think there's an inherent jealousy there that men have, unenlightened and egotistical men have of, and it's buried deep. It's not something that they're conscious of. I think it's this unconscious jealousy, but it's for real.
So we have to subjugate
Yes,
what they see as
yeah.
more powerful.
Yeah.
It's part of the root of the patriarch, though. I mean, I really believe that.
No, I believe you're totally right. Are y'all familiar with y'all? Ha! It slipped out.
I like it.
I'm in Connecticut. They don't speak that way here. So anyway, you know, are y'all familiar with Mary Daly, the writer Mary Daly? Her work is very hard to find, especially as time progresses. But she talks in depth about male mothers. And those are the men who are so intimidated and so jealous that they will never be able to give birth themselves, that they absolutely subjugate women and mess over our interpersonal relationships with our children, demean our authority, demean our right to parent. But male mothers, check it out. You might
Male
really,
mothers.
yeah. Mary Daly was amazing, amazing
I'll have to look
feminist
it up.
writer.
I don't know.
Yeah, this concept of male mothers I've not heard, but
Yeah, check it out, because it's
Interesting.
right on topic of what you're speaking on,
Mm-hmm.
and also the spirituality. She was a very much against the Catholic Church. She was raised Catholic, and she's very spiritual, and her work is hard to find because that woman is a definite womanist to the patriarchy. I mean, she breaks it down in spiritual levels that are so easy to understand at the same time, mixed in with actual circumstances that women suffer through all over the nation. Gynecology. She wrote Gynecology. It's one of the best books you'll ever read.
Interesting.
Yeah. And you can actually check that out in Oklahoma, because Kim checked it out for me online. We could not find her book, Gynecology. I want to say it was written in the 80s, but I might be wrong. It might have been the 90s. We could not track this book down from New York Public Library or the LA Public Library system, because, we got cards.
Wow.
And Kim was actually able to find it in Oklahoma City at the library there.
Interesting. It's not on Amazon. Everything's on
There's
Amazon.
like one subversive librarian somewhere that's putting those on the
But I
shelf.
can't even find her
They're
in
like, nobody
Connecticut.
else is going to pay attention to these except people.
But it's weird that that's the whole weirdness about blue state, red state fallacy, in my opinion. I've lived in these big, huge blue oases, big cities, and you can often find the more subversive literature and in my opinion, more righteous feminists and humanists in the red states. That doesn't mean that they're not also in the blue states, but it just seems like you can get your hands on Mary Daly in a red state. You can get on the phone with people in a red state who get it, because they understand what women are going
Right,
through.
because we're
they're
happy to be
seeing
loud and
it.
push against things.
We're still
But
fighting
people
it.
in blue states think it's all wrapped up, right?
Yeah,
women
they
are
think
women
that
are
it's
better
fair.
here, so it's all done. I mean, in Massachusetts, if you rape a woman and impregnate her, and she chooses to deliver the baby and keep the baby and raise the baby, the rapist can sue for custodial rights, and that's a blue state. That's progressive Massachusetts.
Yeah,
That's fucked up.
the majority.
You
of
can't even do that in
states,
Oklahoma.
You can get custodial rights.
But you
even
can't
if
do that in Oklahoma.
I don't think so. I think Oklahoma is one of the states where rapists don't have custodial rights.
Yes, they can.
Do they?
Really?
I haven't
I
updated
thought y'all were-
myself on this.
I
at
thought
all.
y'all were doing better than that.
You can, if there's a conviction, you can present it as evidence, but it is not an absolute bar to custodial rights. It's still at the discretion of the judge as to what's
Of
in
the
the best
judge.
interest of the child.
That's always the standard, best interest of the child.
I mean, because there was a big thing, I think it was about 15 years ago back home in McCurtain County, a judge gave full custody to two little girls to their father, who impregnated their mother at the age of 12 or 13.
Oh my god.
So
Way to go,
there was
Judge,
absolute
way to
proof of
go.
rape, and he handed over two little girls to him.
Fuck the patriarch.
Would you like to rape them or their friends? Have a sleepover.
Right? A big party for everybody here. Yeah.
Hey, and if he got full custody, I bet his rape victim, the 12-year-old he impregnated, she's paying child support.
Oh my god.
Right?
And again,
I mean, that's how it works.
Yeah, she would have been ordered to pay child support.
again,
Yeah.
the fucking patriarch at work in our
Yep.
lives right there. Like, again,
Well, there's that
Fuck the patriarch.
stereotype that family courts prefer the mothers when it comes to custody. And time after time, when the data comes out, it shows the opposite is true. But they will not let that go. And men's
Didn't know
rights
that.
organizations they hold on to that, and that's their primary talking point, is that family courts are biased against men, and it's absolutely not true.
It's not true.
No.
It's fake news. It's absolute
It's
fake
not.
news.
The numbers don't show
no,
that.
when I was 4 years old, my parents got divorced. And my dad was an illegal immigrant when he first came to this country. He was had green card status because he had been married to my mom. But they divorced when I was 4, and this was in small town Oklahoma in Chickasha. And the judge awarded my dad, a non-citizen of our country, full custody of me, giving
Oh
my
my
mom
gosh.
every other weekend and 6 weeks in the summer visitation, because essentially it boiled down to my dad having a character witness who testified that he was responsible for my religious upbringing and had been the one that had taken me to church, which was all bullshit.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's
And-
really sick.
And my
It's
mom
really
was
sick.
in nursing school and didn't have an income coming in, and my dad made money, and so they gave me to him, and it was, I don't have a great relationship with my dad, and I have very little respect for him because of the way it all went down. But yeah. And so it is a fallacy. I'm
It is.
proof of that.
And what they do is they take the overall numbers of mothers. This percentage of mothers have custody of their children, but the reality is most of them have custody because they're the only ones who ask for
They're
custody.
the only parent.
Yeah, but
sometimes
that's the
too.
thing. Like,
Yeah.
if guys ask for custody, they'll get it. That's all they gotta do.
They're
With
much
that.
more likely to get it. And if you're working, or especially if you travel for work, or you're going to work in school, so your kid is spending time with the child, in childcare or whatever.
Or you
that's-
submit false evidence, or you lie to the court.
That's true. That too. But all of those things are used against women when they're not used against men, because men are expected to work.
We're expected to be out of the home. We're
Right.
expected to pay babysitters and whatnot. And when we have the same lifestyle,
Right.
it's held against us.
Correct.
Yeah.
We can't have that life.
No, you're not supposed to be masculine in your characteristics and have ambition or drive.
Right. Because it's seen as not putting your child first if you're a woman.
Dude, that's happened to me. I had a lawyer tell me, not the same, not Richard Corley, my sexual attacker, but this other attorney actually said to me once, like, oh, so you were on the road to further your career when your child was young?
Right.
And it's like, I was married to a guy who didn't have a job.
Right.
What was I supposed to do? Watch my kids starve and we go homeless?
I'm very frustrated with the courts. I stopped practicing entirely at the end of the year last year.
Yeah?
Yeah. I didn't renew any of my bar licensures. I ended my relationship with the firm that I was working with for several reasons that I probably shouldn't go into, so I don't get sued. But yeah, because the system is so messed up and it drives me crazy.
Yeah, I'm doing civil litigation and insurance defense. It's a nice little safe haven where I don't have to care too much.
Right. See, this is why I want
that's
to do
good.
mediation, so that
Yeah.
when people can figure it out outside of court, I think they're better off. So I want to at least help
Absolutely.
those people,
Mm-hmm.
because I can't deal
Yeah.
with the court, and because I've watched the family court, because I did at the last firm I was what was my title, family law coordinator. So I dealt with all the family law cases, and
Family law is the worst, too.
and I've watched so many abusers use
Yeah.
the courts to continue to abuse their former partners. And
Oh,
it's
yeah, the
so
game.
common,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just so tired of it. I just can't do it anymore.
Well, it's another form of emotional abuse to drag a partner through the whole process, especially if you know that they won't have the resources to fight against you. It is abuse of power. It's just another manipulation tool for
Absolutely.
them. Yeah, it's sick.
Well, I think in Scotland, they just put some new law into effect where judges have to take psychological abuse into consideration.
In Scotland?
I believe it's Scotland. I could be wrong. I smoke a lot of pot.
Ditto.
It's some
We just got
country, not
legal weed in
America, and they
Oklahoma.
speak English. I know that because I can read the tweet.
What state are you in? In Connecticut?
I'm in Connecticut.
Connecticut. That's how I remembered how to spell it when I was a kid. Connecticut. Do they have
It's
legal?
very
Do they have
difficult.
legal marijuana in Connecticut?
I don't know.
I don't. What
Is
are
it
the
legal
rules?
there?
Yeah, there's medical marijuana here, and I have a card. I'm a resident of Nevada, and I have a medical condition. I have PTSD from being married. And so my physician in Nevada recommends I smoke pot.
Yeah, we just
Instead of
got.
getting a prescription, I smoke an herb.
Yeah, we just got medicinal marijuana passed in Oklahoma too.
Yes, I know. Congratulations,
Thanks.
Oklahoma.
I got my card too. I'm a proud
I need to do
card
that.
carrying member of the. I don't know what it is. I
need
can
to do
smoke
that.
pot legally.
We got a memo after that about what that means for us. And
Lawyers?
with
Wait, you mean like lawyers?
Well, no, where I work, my day job is not as an attorney. I'm working as a social worker. And we got this memo about, because it's still against federal law, our policy is going to be that you can't be impaired while on the job. Well, no fucking kidding. And they went through this whole thing about how to tell if somebody's impaired and what to do. And I'm like, ask if they're going to share because it's rude not to? What are you getting at?
I know.
Which apparently
I
was
think
not
my
the right
Ty, he's got Doritos.
That sounds like
Yes!
some reefer madness.
answer.
Okay, but can you, like, are they going to test you? Or
You
can
can
you
be
smoke when you're not at work? How does it work?
We can be randomed still, and they're still way too vague for my lawyer brain to be happy with their standpoint on what happens if you show THC on your random, and so far it hasn't come up yet. So we're still waiting on the fallout and the litigation from that, because it's going to happen at some point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think there'll be a few lawyers coming from Colorado and help
Right?
BJ. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep, we're gonna have
Yeah.
to learn a lot from them. I just got my licensure for the state of Colorado as well. So
That's right.
yeah. So I'm barred in Oklahoma and Colorado,
You go, girl.
and we're gonna make some pot things happen here.
We need to.
Yeah, this shit needs to just go recreational. It just needs to be federally
Yes,
legal.
just
It's fucking-
declassify
come
it at
on.
the federal level and call it good, because this is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Well, Elizabeth
It's re-
Warren's running for president. Maybe she'll do it for us. I'm just saying. I don't know.
We're not going to have that conversation about her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I don't like Elizabeth Warren
The way
either.
she has escalated this whole native thing, I don't even talk about her.
Okay, fair enough.
People blowing up my Twitter mentions. I'm like, yeah, I already said what I thought like 2 years ago. Do we have to keep talking about it?
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, anyway, so you're in grad school right now, and
Yeah.
have you just stopped with the comedy, or what's the plan?
No, I will actually be in Tucson next week, Valentine's Day, and the weekend after that, I will be at Laugh in Tucson, and then I'm going to be at Go Bananas in March, and that's in Cincinnati. It's in Blue Ash, Ohio, but they call it Cincinnati.
Cool.
Yeah, but I haven't worked that much since this incident because, like I said, you know, if you can't stay competitive in comedy, what's the point?
Yeah.
You know.
Sure.
So
Yeah, I get it.
I retweet other people's stuff. I might put a comment. I put out some clips last year just because I am involved with Kimberly, and I wanted to put that out because I didn't want my kid to hear it from somebody else. If that makes any sense. Like, but that's it. You know, that's it.
Well, I'm glad
So
that you're still doing
Getting
it.
back to work. Yeah, y'all should come to the show. It's in Tucson. That's not that far.
Right, we'll just jump right on over there. I did go see her last year in Fort Worth when she was in Fort Worth.
Awesome. Yeah.
I rode the
wanna-
little train down there, and
That's fun. Yeah, if you're ever, I mean, even if it's not in the area, if it's just like on the weekend show somewhere, I need a girls' getaway. Let's
Yeah.
just go somewhere.
It was a lot of fun.
We should meet in Colorado. Let's go to Colorado.
Okay. Are you gonna perform in Colorado?
I don't have any plans. These are the first two shows I've done in quite a lengthy amount of time, you know.
Well, listen, you try and get something booked in Colorado on a weekend. I'll book a show for my band the same weekend, and we'll just like go up there and like hang and go to Red Rocks and do comedy and music and
She's
just
planning
like,
her
I love it.
weekcation.
yeah, it's our weedcation / comedic musical endeavor. I don't know, ladies' weekend. Yeah.
Road trip. That sounds like fun.
I know, right?
That'd be great.
We can just film the whole thing because it'll be
That would be
hilarious.
amazing. We could make a whole episode out of it.
Yes,
That'd
we
be
could.
amazing.
Yes, because I'm sure it would be ridiculous.
I drug my friend out to her show last year when I went. She also has anxiety about crowds like I do. So we're both sitting there.
Were you like back to back, like looking around?
They wouldn't. It was really hard because we wanted to sit close to the stage, but it's all these. Well, yes, no, we would
It was
rather,
just a visual I had.
we would rather sit like that. But they have these small round tables, and like there's nowhere you can sit with your back to a wall or anything, and we're like super stabby, ready to attack people.
You're exposed.
Yes.
Stabby.
That's the joke she makes about me all the time because I carry a knife in my bra. So.
Summer.
So we're sitting there drinking copious amounts of alcohol while
With your knife in your brow, as you do.
like you do. And but yeah, she almost died when Lisa was doing her set from lack of oxygen because she was laughing so hard. So she forgave me for dragging her out to the comedy club because it was so funny.
I'm glad y'all were there.
That's awesome. Well, now I'm jealous. Now I want to see a show. That's gonna have to happen. I want to die of oxygen, lack of oxygen.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah. So.
Well, I'm glad you were there.
So, but are you actively booking right now for more shows? You should come to Oklahoma City.
she's gonna start talking to all the club owners she knows and get you here.
I'm just gonna get you a show here.
I'll do a show with Kelly. Kelly and I will do a show together because she sings about her punani, and that seems appropriate for my crowd. I don't know what her crowd's like. They might actually enjoy each other.
yeah, that was me. That was Felina here.
That was Felina. I thought it was Kelly. I didn't know.
Steal her act.
So
yeah,
funny.
Kelly, I'm sure we'll talk about her punani if needed for comedy's sake.
Yep.
It's actually Kelly we did an interview with her before you, and she's quite hilarious in her own right, and I've always encouraged her. I'm like, you really need to do stand up. You really need to do this, like, because she's so funny too. So I would love to have the two of you in the same room just to
That would be
riff.
amazing.
Stand up, it seems terrifying. So, yeah.
Well, we can have a private show where we just all get drunk and make each other
Yes,
laugh. That
that would
sounds,
be
yeah.
amazing.
That's my kind of thing. I couldn't do what Lauren does.
I'm only funny when I don't mean to be.
Right,
I'm not
yeah,
really
that's
funny.
kind of
I'm
me
just
too.
stupid. It's fine.
Well, I think we're all smart. We've got 4 smart, intelligent, funny ladies
Very
here.
true.
Witty. It's really all about the wit and timing.
Yes.
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 As she knows.
Yes, indeed.
I will have to look up one of her old sets, one of her old things for you. There's that she used to do about. I don't have what was it? I don't
even have a type. I have a pattern.
Oh yeah, talk about my exes.
Yes, about the type of men she chooses.
I don't date. I have life lessons.
Yeah, I did not choose well. I did not
totally
choose. But
relatable.
there are great men. It's just I never go out with them.
I do. I have the worst taste in men. I've had some good men. I can see that now. But I sent them all away, They weren't as interesting to me. I don't know what's wrong with me. You can introduce me to a solid guy with a vocabulary of kind words and a job. I'll be like, he's all right. Does he have an unemployed brother with a substance abuse problem, like to punch a bitch every once in a while? I hope he shows I shaved.
Yeah, I forgot all about that. I haven't been
love
up
that
on
one.
stage in so long.
That's the most relatable thing I've ever heard.
Oh, that's funny. Maybe he's living on your parents' couch or something. That's my man.
That's it.
It's such a relatable concept.
I'm like, why do you have a place to live? No, I'm sorry. Call me back when you're homeless.
Oh, you have a car. Sorry.
Oh, I wish that was a joke.
Summer and her collection of broken.
Oh, I have dated
Oh
two men
yeah,
who were
you
homeless.
had very bad
at the
taste,
time.
don't you, Summer?
They were couch surfing, and they were constantly, I'm getting a place for like 2 years. They're getting a place.
You should have introduced them to each other. They could have
I
split
totally
rent.
should, because I'm friends with them both. So,
Oh
why don't y'all just exchange numbers and talk to each other and leave me out of it?
Oh Lord.
I'm the rehab for broken men that never fixes them.
Yeah, you like a nice little project around the house, huh?
Apparently.
Like the unfinished project.
One that never ends.
DIY queen.
Yes, I forgot to take my Adderall, so I quit halfway through, and something shiny went by, and
Oh, I love you, Summer.
at least I can admit that I have a problem. I don't know how to fucking fix it, but I have a problem.
We're just
Who are you
waiting.
dating now, Summer? Who are you dating?
I am not dating anyone, but I've got some guys I can tell you about. Not on the air, 'cause they don't know each other, but I can tell you off the air. Felina and some of my friends friends are
Very aware.
conspiring against me to try to get me to date one of them,
Mm-hmm.
who is also equally not into dating.
Like neither of you want to date, and all of your friends are like, date.
Yes.
Well, wait a minute. Wait, y'all both feel the same way, but your friends are telling you that it might work. So maybe just go out on one date.
Well, we've been on a date.
Oh,
They quote unquote date.
We hang out. We just don't date.
oh, okay. I understand this relationship better now.
Yes. We broke my bed, but we don't date.
Well, you know, some relationships are better in the bedroom, and that's the only room they should happen.
That's true.
Listen,
You know?
Summer is living her best life, is all I'm saying. I admire this woman.
I don't. Yeah. I don't want a man full time because I have enough children to take care of.
No truer words.
Let a
No
couple of them
truer
move
words.
out, then we might reevaluate.
I don't know. I only got the one here. I don't really want another man in my space.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Just I like my space.
I'm like, you're so nice. Now can you go home?
Yep. And now it's time to leave.
Yeah, it's hard. It's difficult. It's difficult.
Well, are you going to be booking more shows? I know I started on a tangent a minute ago booking you up in the city, but I meant to actually ask you that question. You've got Cincinnati coming up and Tucson.
Yes, in Tucson, and that's it for right now. I'm focusing on school.
Right on. Yeah.
You know.
So how long do you have left in school?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's like 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. You work at your own pace. It's online.
Oh, okay. I did one of my degrees with online. I liked it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I think we should probably leave a link to where people can find information about your next show and more about your comedy. So where can people find you online?
LisaLandry.com, and I'm also on Twitter at Lisa Landry. Both L's are capitalized. I don't go to Facebook too often. It doesn't interest me the way it used to. So I'm more on Twitter these days.
I've got to get myself
You've
on
got
Twitter.
an Instagram too, right?
I have an Instagram account, but you know, because of this assault, like that guy was following me and interacting with me on Instagram. So
Block
because
that
of Richard
motherfucker.
Corley, he like tried to get on my email list, which is I haven't been able to email my fans because I'm just like, you know, I don't know what to tell them. But he was interacting with me on Instagram,
Oh.
leaving messages. So I'm pretty grossed out by Instagram these days because again, like I don't want to, you know, I don't know what. I mean, like if I could take a picture of me in a bathing suit and then somebody files a tort against this predator, are they going to use that against me? You know, like look, that's how she is. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's very convoluted. So
Yeah.
Twitter.
What are the podcast accounts?
Oh, it's Women's to Society, and it's on Twitter there. And the podcast is on Libsyn, Spotify, iTunes. We put it on YouTube to archive it there. If people want to listen to it, they can listen to it on YouTube as well. And I think iTunes too. I might be leaving somewhere off. I hope I'm not. But it's out there. You know, people can find it.
All right.
Awesome. Well, we will leave a link to all of your creative endeavors and let people find you who are interested, because I find you very interesting. I'm going to have to look you up now. Now that
Aw,
we've
I
spoken.
find you very interesting. I'm going to follow you on Twitter. Let's be friends. I'm going to come to Oklahoma and we're going to smoke out and take a trip to Colorado.
Fuck yes. Fuck it. My Twitter, I've got to get better about Twitter. But I did start one for a little side project on there. So you'll find me at Salty Pussies. It's a little side branding.
Somebody likes to surf.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not what I'm going for. But I'm going for exactly what you like. I'm salty about some things. I think a lot of women are. So we're some salty pussies over here.
Yes.
So yeah, that's a little side branding project I'll be working on soon. I'm not very
I love
active
it.
on Twitter, but find that on there, and when I get active, you'll notice.
You'll see.
Oh, yes. Has the salty pussy been activated yet?
I feel like a group of superheroes now. Salty
Yeah.
pussies unite.
We need
Salty
somebody to draw this up for us.
The power activate.
Pussy power, yes! We need outfits. We need outfits.
I love a good outfit.
I know, right?
I love it. That's great.
You're officially, you can be a salty pussy. You're an honorary salty pussy
Yes.
now.
Ooh.
You're in.
Score.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much for hanging out
Thank
with us.
you
and
so
talking
much.
with
I'm
us.
sorry I didn't get to see you playing with your nose, and I'm going to regret that.
We'll video it next
We can
time.
recreate it
Yeah.
and hang out.
Thank you. We'll do that on our fun weekend.
Yeah.
I really appreciate y'all. It was really good talking with you guys. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank
And
you.
hey, seriously, let's touch base afterwards. I'll get you those attorneys.
Well, thank you very much. 'cause,
You're
you know,
welcome.
yeah, it's been an issue.
Yeah,
Thanks.
we're gonna help you. All right, thank you.
Bye, sisters.
Bye.
You can contact the podcast at brokebrokenpodcast@gmail.com. The Broken Broken Podcast can be found on Twitter at Broke Broken Show, on Instagram and Facebook at Broke Broken Podcast.